So go ahead and finish that. I'll wait until you finish that before going live. Drink that really close to the microphone. All right, everyone. Welcome to class number 17.
What?
And day number 2 of the content creation challenge. We want to know immediately, what's your experience been? Whether you did the assignment or chose not to do the assignment. If you're telling yourself you're going to do the assignment today because you didn't have time yesterday, whatever it is, we're not trying to shame anybody. We just want to engage. We want interaction. One of the things that we really hope you get, especially from this content challenge, is that in order to create content, you're gonna have to bump up against some of your resistance. I mean, it's just the way it is.
No, thank you.
That's the road. And we want you to hear from other people who are also bumping up against their resistance.
Yeah.
Because that is the process. There is no way around that process. And yet that judging experience is the reason that almost everybody fails.
Yeah.
Almost everybody won't do this because of the judgment that's a required and unavoidable part of the process. So if you feel yourself judging, awesome. We celebrate that. Because the judge inside of you is trying to keep you safe when you take action. The only way to shut that voice down that I've learned in 17 plus years is don't do anything.
Yeah.
Don't threaten your comfort zone. Don't threaten any of your boundaries. Don't take any risks. Don't move from where you are cemented, and the internal voices will shut up. If that's what you want, that's the way to do it. If you don't want to be cemented where you are, then you just have to embrace what comes with that. And what comes with it in the context of creativity is resistance. It is judgment. It's not feeling like you're doing it right or wanting to be better than you currently are. It's some version of expectation. So if you felt any of that, congratulations.
Yes.
If you didn't feel that, then my guess is you did something that is within your comfort zone. So you've probably already been creating. That's my guess, because that's the way the mind works. And if you've been creating a lot, and what you did from yesterday's class, or what you do throughout this process, or this is just a rule to live by going forward, if it's not creating that resistance, try harder, take more of a risk, do more creativity or more vulnerable creativity, because when it comes to creativity, we constantly want to keep pushing ourselves beyond our comfort zone. Think about it. Creativity only happens outside of your comfort zone. So if you're in your comfort zone, you're not creating, because creativity is building something that doesn't already exist. Everything in your comfort zone already exists. So this is the process. Remember, there's an intellectual understanding that most of us need to know. When we take off these layers, when we get vulnerable, when we speak our voice out, this is the journey. So there is no way, in my experience, to stop that being the journey. There's just a way to educate ourselves and keep going on the journey anyway, because it's important enough. So is there anything you want to add to that, Michelle, before we get into these numbers here?
Look at the comments from other people. Engage in the Facebook group, like Sean was saying, because the other thing that's really important, and Sean said this inside of what he was saying, and I want to isolate it because it matters. You are not alone. You are doing it right. Other people have the same feelings and sensations that you do. And it's so important to know in this process. It's part of the process.
It's part of the process because you're human.
Yeah. What?
If you do something you haven't done before and you're human and your brain is working properly, it will tell you to stop doing it because your brain works that way.
Yeah.
Especially if you care.
Yeah.
If you're sharing something you care about and your brain doesn't go, hey, whoa, let's think about this for a little bit here. Do we really want to do that? Is it safe to do that? Remember last time you did something similar to that and there was this big catastrophe? What if that big catastrophe happens this time? Are you really sure you want to do that?
Yeah.
If your brain doesn't do that around something that you care about that's outside of your comfort zone, your brain has stopped working.
Yeah.
So in this context, don't be this context of building your creativity. Don't be concerned when those inner voices are yelling at you. Be concerned when they're silent.
Yes.
Because growth threatens them. So if they're not yelling at you or at least talking to you with some version of, are you sure? Or all the way to, don't you dare. That's on the same path. It's all the same voice, just different intensities.
Yeah.
If your voice isn't doing that, then you're not growing.
Here's the thing too, the people that you're wanting to connect with, whether you are posting this stuff yet or not, if you're just, keeping it to yourself, just know this, the people that you're wanting to connect with, that you're wanting to serve, they're humans and they don't relate to a robot, right? They don't relate to an android. They relate to a human. So you having all of these human fears and human concerns, they might not have the exact same ones in the exact same details, but they also have those. So your humanness is the thing that is going to connect you with other humans. So don't try to be a robot with a non-working brain that doesn't experience any of the things that humans experience, and then turn around and ask me or ask Sean why you don't have any clients. Because your clients that you want to serve don't want to hire a robot. They want to hire a human. So that's let me stop.
For now.
For now.
More to come. So if you're following our social media posts or you're on the email list, you got a message, or at least we sent out a message, whether you got it or not. I don't know. Most people don't get most of the stuff that we send out. Most people are not going to get most of the stuff you send out. That's just the name of the game, the way it goes. But it was actually a really cool compilation here of a bunch of numbers that truthfully surprised me. And it was really cool. I'm very proud of these numbers. So, and Michelle compiled all kinds of creation metrics, I guess. So over the last 15 to 17 years, and really over the last 4, I would say, I've just been creating. Over the last 4 years, my creativity has changed the way it comes out of me. It's a lot deeper. It's on different topics, but I've been creating for a long time. So we counted 821 blog posts, 33 paid courses. Now, these are courses. These are not just videos. These are anywhere from, what's the shortest? Probably four modules.
Yes.
All the way up to 25 modules, I would say.
Yeah.
So every single one of those is a lot of modules and videos and dozens of hours for most of those. We've got 26,558 subscribers over 2 YouTube channels. The majority of them are on the Coach Sean Smith YouTube channel that, if you're following me, you're probably on that channel. 1,398. This blew me away. I would have guessed probably 450. 1,398 videos. Published videos. Not produced videos, published videos.
Yeah.
For a total of 1,108,718 views. I remember it wasn't too long ago, Michelle, I think I texted you or emailed you or something, when I recognized that the views were over 1 million. And I almost started crying.
Yeah.
It was like, wow. Because what I really struggle with a lot of times is that nobody's listening. That is one of my core wounds. It's one of my deepest limiting beliefs. It's in the vein of I'm not good enough. They don't care what you have to say. Shut up, stop talking. And that's still extremely deep. It's activated right now as I'm speaking about it. And so when I saw 1 million views, like, I was speechless. You know, I got tears in my eyes now just thinking about it. Like, somebody's listening. You know, somebody's listening. And what our head attacks us for is that not everybody's listening. Like, we send out, you know, we got 100 people following our page, let's say, and most of them don't listen. Our head wants everybody to listen, and it wants everybody to be positive and give positive feedback. Our soul just wants somebody to listen.
Yeah.
Just somebody. Because you can only change a single life at a time. And I know that sounds cliche, but even if 1 million people are watching you simultaneously, that's just a simultaneous interaction with a single person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the difference that you make with a single person that will matter to you. Not the big numbers with the commas. It's the single person that says, thank you. Because of that video, I did this, or I didn't do this, or I now want to do this. It's the single person that will give you meaning, that will give you fulfillment. And yet we chase all the numbers and we want the commas. Yeah. The commas will not give you any emotional attachment. Not in my experience.
No. Unless
you dig through and go, those are individual people on the other side of that. And then we did some calculations. Over 10,400,000 minutes watched. I haven't done this calculation, but if we took the percentage of watch time and then extrapolated, we could get the number of minutes that are available to watch. Mm-hmm. And it's probably close to 100 million. Mm-hmm. Now, there's some skewed, you know, because people are watching simultaneously. So there's some stuff to dive in there, but it was really cool to see these numbers. And especially over technology, you know, it's easy for a lot of stuff to just get lost. And then on top of that, you guys, I've done 2 TEDx talks. I've done, I don't know how many dozens of poems. I've written a couple songs, like in the recording studio, a couple songs. I've written and performed a 90-minute one-man show, which was actually the catalyst for all this creativity coming out of me. Yeah. I co-produced and starred in a movie with Lisa Nichols. Many of you know, Let's Grow. I wrote a book that's going to be released later this year. Patty, are you proud of me? It was actually extremely humbling to see these numbers, to see this put in bullets. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't include, you know, all the stuff that never made it to oxygen. Yeah. Right? All the stuff that's sitting in that camera right there, or in that camera right there, or in those SD cards, or on my phone that never made it out. The social media posts that have been out there on all the different platforms, all the teleseminars that I did before social media, before videos, all the Facebook lives on all the different platforms. I mean, literally like hundreds, if not thousands of stuff has been produced, but not published. What was that you said?
I said the CDs, the audio downloads. Uh-huh.
The CDs. In a moment, when you jump in and say something, I'll go grab some of those. Cause yeah, and it's crazy. We were talking about it yesterday. I didn't even think about it.
No.
Didn't even think
There's
about
so much that we've forgotten.
I'm on the other side. I don't know.
That's right.
How many things have you done? I don't know. Mm-hmm. Like, and if somebody asks me what I've done, I forget the majority of those bullets. Mm-hmm. And people will go, well, didn't you do this? I go, oh yeah, that's right. And I don't say any of that stuff to give you something to compare yourself to. Because once upon a time, every one of those bullets was 0. Yeah. And then a couple of them were 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. And every single one of you has some creation inventory, whatever that is. And I'm not asking you to even measure it the way we did here. It was a heartwarming reminder. And what I get emotional about is not those numbers. What I get emotional about is the process and the times that I wanted to post something and didn't. And then the next day I wanted to and didn't. And then 3 days later, I didn't want to and did. It's the process of the creativity being birthed that's the most meaningful for me. And almost every single one of you watching this video know about me, know about this channel, know about Michelle because of a decision I made just within the last 3 to 4 years.
Yes.
Most of you have come into this company in the last 3 to 4 years. The majority of that content was before that. The majority of what's been published was and produced really was before that. So I just wanted to set a little context here before we answer some of your questions, because the biggest meaning for me is that this stuff is out of me. And here's the thing, you guys. I feel like I don't have enough time left on this planet to say the things that I still have to say. Like, there's not enough time. Give me 50 years. There's not enough time. Once this creativity gets unlocked and unleashed, it's an infinite resource.
Yeah.
Once you start talking, you're going to like it. There's a piece of you that's going to enjoy just the talking piece. And if you don't put anything up on YouTube, and you don't ever get a podcast out, and you don't ever use this content to get paid clients, if you don't ever do any of that stuff in your business, just your voice getting out of your face is worth it. Your message getting out into the oxygen is worth it. So it stops being trapped inside of here, which we lovingly call the self-abuse room. Get it out of there and get it into somebody's ears who needs it. And they don't give a shit about the lighting. And they don't really care about how amazing your vocabulary is, or the microphone that you use, or how perfect your slides are, or your outline. They just need somebody to give them something that will help them change their life. If you're driven by that, there is no ending to what you can produce, because you are in service. And as long as there's a need, the service people will serve. And until there's no more need, until there's no more humans wanting to change their lives, there's a piece inside of you that will always have something to say to serve. But it's got to start. And if you want more out of you, then get leaning just a little bit more. We got some questions that came in, Michelle, but before we get there, I know you've obviously had your own journey with creativity inside of this company, and so I want to give you a few minutes to say whatever you want to say.
Thank you for just energetically holding space for me. Well, I just fell into that. Did you guys feel that? One of the things I am really good at is being a student. And I want to share with you my reaction and response when I read all of those numbers. And it was a very genuine very authentic, but pretty like visceral response of, and so many people think they know better. They think they know more. And what I mean by that is for me, one of the things that I recognize, one of the things that I believe is really important quality in leadership is the recognition of when it is appropriate for me to sit in the student seat, when it is appropriate for me to say, okay, so here's this person who's already done all of these things that I want to do. Maybe not the exact details. Maybe you don't want to do a TED Talk. Maybe you don't want to write songs or poetry. The details don't matter, right? So if that's where you're going, invite that part of your brain to just for a second, because the details don't matter. But here's somebody who has unlocked and unleashed their creativity muscle. There is something for me to learn. There's something for me to learn. And then I got inside of the space where those things were being taught. And so that's the invitation for you. And I know I'm preaching to the choir because you're here right now and you're on this Q&A, but I want you to keep going in that. Be in the space of the people who are doing the things in the way that you want to do them so that you can learn from them and you can turn around and you can teach. That's what unlocked things for me. That's what unlocked things for me. I didn't consciously know at the time that I was looking to open up my creativity. I just knew the impact, the way I felt when I watched a video from Sean. I knew the way I felt when I read his About Me story. I knew the way I felt when I looked at posts on social media and read blog articles. I knew that feeling that I had in my body of, oh my God, somebody gets me, somebody's talking to me, somebody is like me, somebody understands me for the first time in my life. I feel like I felt in my body like I was being seen, and that I knew like that there was somebody out there that I didn't know, but I knew there was somebody out there who had been where I had been, details different, but had been where I had been, and they could guide me on that path forward. And then that's why I started, like, that's why I just started following, right? And being in the community. And then as I grew in my desire to no longer just be a student, but to be a teacher, I had to learn, and I wanted to learn, how can I become that person who passes that flow through, that lets that feeling flow through, right? How can I be that person that somebody, not because of my ego, but because of my impact? I want to be that person that somebody's reading my post, that somebody's reading my story, that somebody's watching the video that I did, hearing me speak, and they're saying, oh my God, finally, she's saying that thing. She gets me. And so I put myself in the space of the person who made me feel what I wanted other people to feel when they looked at me, and I learned. So put yourself in that space, you guys, and learn. That's the thing that was significant to me. The other personal growth experiences that happened through it, all a bonus. But I wanted other people, again, not from my ego, but from my life. If you knew me, if you knew who I was when I came into this community in 2013, you would know. You wouldn't even argue with the statement that I am literally not the same person. Literally, in every sense of the word. I wanted to give that experience to other people. I wanted other people to feel what I felt, and I had to learn the way to make that happen. That's what we're offering you in this opportunity, and that's what we're teaching to the people who say yes to eSchool. Now, if you're not interested in that, then it's not a fit for you. But I want you to know from my heart, real transparently, it wasn't packaged in the eSchool box at the time for me. But as I look at what I know we're going to be doing inside of that course, that's the thing. That's the opportunity that's available for you. So I'm excited about answering these questions. Thank you, Sean. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for just speaking to that realness.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we didn't really plan to go over this today until these numbers kind of stacked up yesterday. And I certainly didn't plan on getting as activated as I did. But it's such a sacred journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a sacred journey for each of us individually who are talking right now, just Michelle and I.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a sacred journey, and it's a sacred invitation for all of you to speak your truth.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we hear that phrase and we see the memes and all that stuff all the time. And the majority of the people, though, are not speaking their truth. And we're not even getting it in motion so that it can evolve. Only something in motion can evolve. And most of us, because of the way we're programmed and because of the way this brain works, our creativity is not only not evolving, it's devolving.
Mm-hmm.
Our creativity is going into atrophy. And
Yeah.
we got to change that. Like we just have to change that. And it will spill over into so many other areas of your life.
You don't even know.
You can't know.
Mm-mm.
You cannot know.
Mm-hmm. You don't deserve to yet. Because if that's why you're doing it, it's tainted, to use your word.
We'll have to open that up on another video.
Mm-hmm. Stay tuned.
And we say that, not to be demeaning or dismissive, just to understand that a lot of the questions that we ask in the beginning are unknowable and undeservable.
Yeah.
And that's not like, a judgment of who you are as a person.
Mm-mm.
It's like you walk into the gym and then you look around and go, oh, look at these guys. They got all these big muscles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, your body doesn't deserve those muscles yet.
Mm-hmm.
You just walked in,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you've been here. This is your 7th time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'm actually taking my son to the gym. This is like our 3rd week.
Nice.
And so this is very real for me. Here he is, brand new and looking around, and I'm trying to get him to just focus, and he's doing a good job of it. But like, this is about your journey, not comparing it to those guys. Those guys have been in here a long, long time. Now we just tend to want to be wherever we want to go instead of getting there and doing it and allowing the required evolution to take place. We want to shortcut that. Right. There is no such thing as shortcutting mastery. There's no such thing as a shortcut to mastery.
Right.
And to highlight what Michelle said, if you're committed to a shortcut to mastery, you don't deserve it.
Yeah.
And I will say that with judgment and boldness. You do not deserve a shortcut to mastery.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing is we all have the evolution capability inside of us. Most of us just don't have the permission.
Yep.
We don't have the internal permission. Everybody can unlock their creativity. Every single one of you. I don't care how long it's been locked. Every single one of you can unlock your creativity. Almost everybody will choose not to. I'm not saying all of you that are still watching this video almost a half hour in, I'm not putting that on you, because a lot of the people that will choose not to will have already stopped watching this video. So they won't even get this far. But this journey of evolution is possible for every single person, because it's about unlearning and relearning and going back to an integration that you already had. Yeah. This is not anything missing inside of anybody. Right. This is just covered up. So if this is covered up, it can always be uncovered. I don't know how long. I don't know what exercise it'll be for you. You're not going to have to write and perform a 90-minute one-man play on the deepest, most vulnerable thing you've ever shared with the world. You won't have to do that, probably.
Unless you do.
Unless you do, and then do it. And if yours needs to be 120 minutes, do it.
Right.
But get it in motion. Let the process let you know what needs to happen. Don't demand that your intellect knows what needs to happen before you get into the process. That's what guarantees it won't work.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons that I know we're so activated today is that all of that, all the numbers and the million views and 10 million minutes and all that stuff. It's cool. It's cool. It is. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't do a good job of celebrating what I've accomplished. So I just want to take a moment and say that though that's amazing, but it's based on the work. It's based on the effort. All this stuff that you see, multiply what you think it took to get there by at least 10. That's what has me in tears. Not the videos as they make it onto YouTube, the journey before every single video, and the journey for the 17 years before that, and the 30 years before I even got into personal development. It's the journey that gives me pride. And if those videos never made $1, I would still have that feeling and my voice would still be unlocked. So it's teachable. That's the other cool thing here that you got to get. This is teachable. It's all teachable. I am a teacher. So I look back on this list of creativity and I go, what did I do? Yes. How did I do that? Because I need to tell people about
people.
I need to teach people this process of creativity. And I'm not saying I'm the only one teaching it, or Michelle is the only one that has the capability of teaching it. I just don't see it being taught.
Sure.
And it's tough to recognize that it needs to be taught for us because we didn't go through, at least I'll speak for myself, I didn't go through the class of how to unlock it. So I was never in the student seat.
Right.
You know, I really was. If I look back, it was the one-man play and all the things that came after that, and the you know, first spoken word in Atlanta. Like I can look back and go, oh, those were my classrooms. But I never took a course that said this is how you get going. This is how you write your first play. This is how you write your first poem. I mean, I hired somebody to help me write the play, but there was no course on unlocking your creativity. So it is teachable for every single one of us. That's what we need you to understand. We have too many questions to get to for this video, and I appreciate all of the questions that you've asked, all the interaction. Many of you are posting in the Facebook group, and we love all of that. Before we get to at least a few of these videos, you mentioned those CDs. I went on the other side of my wall here, trying to get my hand in the camera. On the other side of the wall is offices. And back there is a bookshelf. And I have these CD, I mean, I guess they're called wallets if they were a little smaller. I don't know what these are called, but this is a gigantic package of CDs. So every single one of these CDs, I average about an hour per CD because we have to edit them down. Back in the days, only an hour could fit. So we had to edit them down to an hour. They were usually about an hour and a half. But every single one of these sleeves, that's upside down. I want them to fall out. Every single one of these sleeves has 8 CDs. And I opened it and I just started crying back there because I look at the titles. I mean, and like every single title, like I remember what went into the title. I remember what went into the outline. I remember recording a lot of these things. Some of these are interviews with friends of mine, and some of it was just me just talking into a mic way back before video. And there's 28 sleeves in here, and there's 8 per sleeve. So I was a math guy. So that's over 200. 28 times 8 is 240 minus 16. So it's 224. And there's 2 of them. And these are only the ones that we put in there. And I stopped doing CDs years ago. My point is, wherever you want to go, get in motion. Don't demand that your 100th step is your next step. Your next step is the first step from wherever you are. It's that first step. Get in motion. We can help you. We can support you. So let's spend, I almost apologize for the length of the video. I'm not going to apologize because those of you that are still here, you want to be here and we appreciate it. So we're going to spend maybe 10 more minutes or so on a few of these questions that we can get through, and we'll answer them on future Q&As or some other way. So this first one, we'll just maybe bounce back and forth, Michelle. This first one says, when it comes to plagiarizing, I found 2 articles, different authors, practically word for word. I wouldn't even spend much time on it. It's just not, for me, it's not worth the energetic energy that will shut down your creativity to worry about plagiarizing. Don't plagiarize yourself. Other people, you know, they might be, there's a thing out there called white label content where people purchase content and then they just publish it under their brand. Maybe people are doing that. I've seen tons of instances where people literally copy and paste. I don't understand the moral character of people that would do that, but they will. Some people will take an entire book and literally publish it under their name. I don't get it. I don't know what those people are trying to prove. I actually feel pity for people that don't trust their own voice enough that they will copy and paste somebody else's and put their name to it. If it happens, bless them. That's my take on it, because it's not worth the poison that it will do to you to worry about it, especially other people plagiarizing other people's stuff. Not my pigs, not my circus.
All right. So next question. Should you, for the process, right, of the lesson number 1, should you use a master in the field like Jack Canfield or Lisa Nichols? I found one from Jack. It was well written, covered everything, and it seemed like there wasn't much to add. Maybe I allowed it to overwhelm me a little. I guess the answer in there would be just to put it in your own words. Yes. Yeah. And my invitation to you is check the story that you're telling yourself that triggered the overwhelm, right? So what were you thinking before you felt that feeling of overwhelm? Because adding was only one of the 3 options that we gave yesterday.
Outside of seeker interviews, what are the tips in different ways to research ideas of what might be appealing to our seeker organically that can be posted on social media? I struggle with knowing what I want to say, but not knowing quite how to articulate it at a time in a way that's attention getting to those I want to serve. So I appreciate that's a slightly advanced question. I don't mean to say that you're only slightly advanced, but it's an advanced question because you're thinking about how do you get attention, and you know that there are algorithms and rules and all that stuff. And so sometimes you can't really tell. Number 1, we're going to go to our grave, rep and seeker interviews. So do more of them, do seeker interviews. And on top of the seeker interviews, which is your question, my big concept is to become the identity of your seeker. Yes. Join groups where they are. Get on email lists that they're on. I used to be on literally hundreds of email lists because I wanted to know what my seeker was getting in their inbox. I wanted to see what emails I wanted to open. I wanted to see what emails triggered something negative in me. If you want to become the essence of your seeker and really get your seeker's perspective, then you can ask them in the seeker interviews, or you can do whatever you can to become them. I would even buy stuff that they're buying out there. The more educated you are about the input of information that they're getting, the more beneficial it will be for you to serve them. As far as how to articulate it, you'll make yourself go loony trying to figure out the right thing to do. Just say what feels right to you, and then recognize what did work or didn't work. And that doesn't mean you be careless, but don't suppress what you really truthfully, authentically want to say because your mind doesn't know how to articulate it in the right way. Let yourself learn what the right way is looking back, rather than demand to know what the right way is looking forward. And again, I say that articulation is going to shut down your creativity.
Oh my gosh. Learn what the right thing is looking back. Yes. A question that kind of piggybacks on that is, I have some questions around this too. If our goal is to speak to what they want, not what we think they need, how do we gauge that, right? Post engagement, which is fraught because of the algorithms. Point taken about the seeker interview importance, by the way. So yes, right. And I'm glad that the point is taken about the seeker interview importance. My strong encouragement to you is stop thinking about doing that process and do the process. Do that process. And here are the things that I ask, right? This is, again, a more advanced question, but what are they literally asking, right? When I found Sean, I was not looking to get over my perfectionism. I wasn't looking to stop procrastinating. I wasn't looking to do identity work or heal my relationship with anybody. I was looking for success. I didn't think I was burnt out, so I wasn't looking for a course on burnout or people pleasing. I didn't think any of those things were a problem. So ask yourself, what is the process, right? What you know they need, and what is that going to help them achieve or feel? And then again, to piggyback off of what Sean just said, try a bunch of stuff and then notice after, what did they respond to? What did they engage with? What triggered them to take action, instead of getting caught on the loop of, I don't know what to say before I say it.
Perfect. I know it's hard for us to just like go one at a time, because we could bounce back and forth and do an entire video on every single one of these questions. So we do appreciate the questions, and we're just trying to move through them and give you some detail without fully exhausting it, because that could literally take hours if we dissect every single one of these. And I do just want to highlight something that you said. I don't know the exact words you were talking about. Don't think about doing them, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
As I was thinking this morning about this video, you don't learn to play the piano with your eyes. You can only learn with your fingers. It's the only way. You can watch somebody play all day long. You can dream about it. You can visualize it until your fingers hit the keys. You have not even started. Next question.
It's yours. You just said you don't learn to play the piano with your eyes. I can't. Okay. Woo! I think actually this is yours, but I think we already answered this. Just again, a piggyback on that is there a way to search for hot topics or pain points? You haven't already done seeker interviews, yes, or is it best to create content about what have been my pain points and what I've overcome, etc. So
yeah, so we've already covered that. When you use a quote or a phrase of somebody else's, do you always need to give credit? Like Sean says or Michelle says, what's the line between an actual quote and using the same phrase or a few words strung together? Why don't you go ahead and answer this one? I like your notes on it.
Yeah, well, so just send me a DM and I'll send you my Cash App, and then you can just send me money, and then it's fine to post.
Yeah. Purchase the rights to our quotes.
I'm kidding. Unless you want to send money, and I receive, I'm open. So it's a great question, and I appreciate the thoughtfulness in it. My philosophy is treat people like I treat people the way I want to be treated. There's no like rule. For me, if Sean said it, like you could quote him and then share your thoughts about his quote, right? And if something he said inspires you, you could give him a shout out like, oh my gosh, I was on this video this morning and Sean said, you can't learn to play the piano with your eyes, and fill in the blank with all the thoughts that you came up with after that. What did it inspire in you? There's no copyrights on thoughts or ideas, right? Or concepts, right? So I remember for a long time, and I said this the other day, that I wouldn't talk about like self-love because I'm like, oh my God, everybody's talking about self-love. Well, not from my perspective and not from my voice, right? And not from my personal experience. But if there is something that Sean said, like, something about the self-abuse room, then I can quote him on that and I've posted things that say a quote with the person who said it. And then I write copy about what that means to me and for me. So those are my thoughts there.
Yeah. What I would add to that is, if saying who said the quote doesn't add any value to the community because they don't know who that person is anyway, then you could just say, I was reading and I saw a meme today and the quote was blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
That's okay, because they don't know who you're talking about anyway. And sometimes adding a person's name might add more confusion, because then you got to explain who that person is.
Right.
For the most part, cite the source. It's just cleaner that way. And then, like Michelle said, you can make it your own by adding to it. So let's go down a little bit. And I really want to get to this last one. I think that's important. And maybe we'll bounce around and do a couple more. This last one that's here. Did you or Michelle ever hate your voice, but know you needed to do it? I hated my voice and had to go back and found why in my childhood. I'm speaking out loud now. So I don't know if you're talking about the actual sound of your voice, like how your voice sounds, or the energy and the vulnerability of like your voice in more of a figurative way. I wouldn't say that I hate my voice. Well, so the short, smart alecky answer is I've never stopped. What you're asking if I ever did, I never stopped. I wouldn't say that I hate my voice now, just because I'm used to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I still am uncomfortable. I don't love the actual sound of my voice, let alone the speaking out. It energizes me in a way that is activating, and I love a lot of that stuff. But as far as just hearing myself talk, even after all of those numbers that I shared with you earlier, I still have the internal judgment. So I don't know a way to let that go. I just know a way to go anyway. And over the course of time, the effect of those voices for me get diminished. The voices are still there. And if I ever get triggered into something, those voices will come back really loud. Like I'll always have access to that self-abuse room. It's just, I mostly choose not to go in there anymore.
Yeah.
But they're there. And if something puts me in there, I still get attacked the way I always have. That's been my experience. So my short answer to your question, yes. And you just got to go anyway. And there is some deep work to be done for some of us. If we want to go figure out why we were punished, or how we were punished, or what the association is to speaking up, to vulnerability, to singing, to creativity. Yeah, there's deep work that can be done there for sure. And we've said multiple times throughout this series, all of us at some point in time were punished for being ourselves. All of us.
Yeah.
It might have been a small intensity level or a gigantic intensity level,
Sure.
but all of us were punished somehow for being ourselves. Mm-hmm. That first time is the moment that our protection mechanism was born.
Yeah.
And the protective layers that put all the clay on the golden Buddha, they go, I don't like how this feels. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do everything I can so that we don't feel that embarrassment. We don't feel that pain. We don't get hit again. We don't get dismissed again. We don't get abandoned again. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that pain I just felt doesn't happen again. So then the brain goes, all right, what did we do just before the pain was felt? Oh, we tried to sing. Or, oh, I asked my mom a question about something. Or, oh, I was visible. That's why I got yelled at.
Yeah.
That's how this brain works. And it's brilliant. It makes that connection and then goes, I love this human so much. I love this being so much. I want to protect our joy and happiness so much that I'm not just going to put one layer between this thing that I love and the thing that just happened. I'm going to keep packing them on because I don't ever want that to be felt again. That's the way these fears are created. And that's why some version of that is why we don't like our voice now. But see if you could ever find in the history of humanity a 1-year-old child that doesn't like their voice. Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Unless they've already been punished for it. But for the most part, most of us, when we were 6 months old, 1 month, 2 years, or 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, we loved our voice. We loved our bodies. We loved looking at ourselves in the mirror. We loved people watching us create. We loved them watching us dance. We loved them watching us sing. We loved them watching us be ourselves until it got dangerous.
Yeah.
That's what we all have the ability to go back to. That's what we mean by unlocking this natural human self-love, self-esteem that we all have. There is not a single person. We're really not going to dive into this concept, but I'm going to introduce something that's super deep just to seed it. There is not a single person that does not love themselves, nor is there a single person that does not have ultimate 100% self-esteem. I'm just going to let that sit for a few moments before I finish that thought. There's not a single one of you that does not love yourself. Your self-love tank is full. Your self-esteem tank, full. Not a single person is less than 100%. It's just that almost all of us don't have access to it. If your self-esteem tank is 100%, but it's 100 miles away from you, it's not, it's full. You just can't touch it.
Right.
It's full. You just don't have access to it. Now, what's in between you and it? All those layers we've been talking about.
Yeah.
What's your response to that question?
Yes. The sound of my voice, how I actually communicate and how I process thoughts, how my mind works. I hate sometimes, a lot of times, the fact that I get really close to the camera because I want to feel the people that I'm speaking to. So I look ridiculous a lot of times because it's like I'm like literally right here in your face. I also don't like how I look. So the sound of my voice is one of many things that I don't like. But here's the thing that I started asking myself is there's two questions. One, inside of that conversation and that dialogue, does my opinion really matter? Does what I think about how I sound or how I look or how I process my thoughts or how I want to like crawl like right up next to or into the people that I am wanting to be in the space of, does my opinions, do they really matter here? And the second question is, what does my seeker think? And when I recognize that my seeker loves the way I communicate, loves the way I process things, really resonates with how I express and how I share things, how I tell my stories. And also, my seeker is so concerned about the pain that she is in that she's not like the sound of my voice is, with all due respect to me and my personal fears, not even anything that she's thinking about. It doesn't actually matter to her. And when I recognized that, that was the thing for me that allowed me to act with, because she doesn't care. It's not important to her.
That's a really powerful point. And I would add to that probably the majority of the things that stop us, your seeker doesn't give a damn about.
Mm-mm.
Not at all.
Mm-mm. No.
Which means in that moment, when we think about doing something, but we don't because of and it's usually some vanity protection.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I'm not ready. I don't know what to say. I don't look right. I don't have the right environment.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we're not trying to be demeaning. I do this all the time still.
Yep. I have to check myself. It's a conversation I'm still in.
Right. So this is just the process, you guys, the process of creativity when you have a human brain and you give a damn.
Mm-hmm.
In that moment, when we decide not to speak because of any of those ego protection factors, we care more about us than them.
Yeah.
And I don't care how that sounds or how that might make you feel or how much you disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the truth. Because if the protection is causing you to not speak, then you're more committed in protecting something around your approval, how you look, not looking bad or wrong or stupid.
Mm-hmm.
In that moment, I'm not saying this is the way you live your life. I'm not calling you a selfish person throughout your entire life. In that moment that it stops you, in that moment, you're more concerned about your self-preservation and self-protection than serving another human that doesn't care about all of the things that you probably let stop you.
Yeah.
If that really stings, good. Because that means you actually care more about serving people than protecting yourself.
Yeah.
And if you do, then let's expose it. Let's expose in the moments that we stop ourselves. Why are we doing it?
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're just going to keep motivating ourselves. Just go do it. Just put the phone out and just go live. Okay, that's great. If you just walked over hot coals and now you're just motivated, you're just going to do everything for a very short period of time. But then what happens the next time that fear kicks up and we don't know how to deal with it? We don't know how to embrace it. We don't know where it's coming from. So we always want to teach you how to make actual change. And we have to understand what's going on in order to make actual change. And some of you, and I want to hear this if this happens to you, if any of you are listening to what we're saying right now in the last few minutes about why we stop ourselves, and over the next day, week, month, whenever, you recognize you have something to say, you stop yourself because your hair's not right, because the lighting's not right, because you don't know exactly how it's going to come out, or any other self-protection factor, and you choose to do it anyway because in that moment you choose service over preservation, let us know so we can celebrate the hell out of you.
Yeah.
That right there is this process. That right there is noticing when you want to stop, having a different thought, and taking a step anyway.
Yeah.
The evolution of your voice and becoming more creative is not getting rid of the temptation to stop. It's creating more temptations to stop because that means you're in motion. Having a single thought, because that's all you can do in a single moment, is handle one thing and then take a step anyway. That's it. And then the next time you have the same opportunity, we'll see if you can repeat it. We'll see if you can go, wait, right now in this moment, am I more committed to serve that person or protect my self-image? I hope you hate that question. because of the way it makes you feel, but I hope you love that question because of what it makes you do, because of the way it makes you feel. That's your body going, no, I want to serve. I want to help. And I can help with bedhead issue that I get, wrestle with a lot.
Every day.
And you can help with bedhead the same way as you can help with a beautiful hairdo.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean you just roll out of bed and you just get sloppy and careless.
Sure.
It means in those moments when you're stopping yourself, why are you stopping yourself? And what's the thought that could get you going? So we just crossed an hour in this video, and I want to get to this first. And
I want to answer more questions.
I know I do want to get to this to at least this last one, because it's just it fits inside this conversation and where this conversation has gone really well. So I do want to do that. And we're constantly paying attention to, how many people are on, how many people are paying attention. And this is the highest engagement video in probably 2.5 weeks, isn't it?
Yes.
Which is awesome, because it's a Q&A call. Mm-hmm. And what I get really excited about, it's not like the 7 steps to this and 3 steps to that. Not that there's anything wrong with that information, but I get excited because you guys are showing up for the real conversation.
Yes.
I don't just get excited about that because we love having those real conversations, but I honor and celebrate that because that's what's actually going to move the needle. And had the numbers plummeted when we crossed half hour, we would have brought it to a close, but we feed off of the interest as well. Those of you that are still on, and the comments that you're making,
right.
And the fact that you're here, and
the no angry emojis. Did you notice?
Oh, I didn't, but thank you for that. No angry emojis today. Yeah. That's funny. That was funny. And that's actually a perfect segue into, I want to share this, the screenshot that you have here. And then I want you to talk about the one right above it. So on YouTube, Michelle does all the community posts and in charge of like posting all the videos and stuff. And so there was a community post, and looks like 16 hours ago, are you joining us for our free content creation challenge? Right? A little poll, get people engaged. And 36% said, I should probably say this after, because it really feeds into what is above, huh? All right, go ahead and you do that. Then I'll come back to this.
Okay. Do you want me to play all the parts?
Yeah, play all the parts. Yeah, okay. I'll ask the question. The question. The question is, and there's a question above it, but I'm only asking so whoever sent the question we're only doing part 2 for this video. Or maybe it was somebody based on another comment. I don't know, but it says related. How can I keep from being spammy with it? Meaning the content and what you say. I've posted it on my Facebook feed a couple times, but that's it so far. Okay. Michelle?
So here's you being like how I was, like, I'm being spammy. Them, your people, are like, who's Leslie? Is she on Facebook? I don't want to bother people. This is just me. They don't know you exist. So I hope I'm not annoying anybody. I think maybe I saw her post about like a dog or something one time. Oh my gosh, I'm such a pest. Okay, yeah, maybe. Like, I think I've maybe seen her post a couple of times. Oh my God, people are going to get annoyed with me posting about my podcast. Half of your people are saying, who are we talking about, as they scroll to the next Super Bowl halftime show meme. And the other half are thinking some version of, yeah, what was her name again? I think maybe she does something with dogs.
And that's not a function of you. First of all, if you can resonate with that, being the person that doesn't want to be spammy and doesn't want to irritate people, then, you know, Michelle mentioned the name Leslie. She's the one that sent in the question. And we love you, Leslie.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can resonate with that, then let Leslie know that you're not alone. And I still do this.
Yep.
Again, I get it. This is the human brain when you really care and you actually don't want to bother people.
Yep.
One of my deepest wounds is being a pest.
Yep.
So anything that has the potential of telling of other people telling me to get lost or telling me through their lack of engagement that what I say doesn't matter, anything that has that potential is scary to me. To my little boy inside, scary, because I don't want to feel that pain. So this is an extremely common human fear.
Yep.
And the more sensitive we are, the more connected to that fear we're going to be.
Yep.
But the more sensitive you are, the more you can help people.
Yes.
The world needs more sensitivity, not hardened robotic humans.
Yes.
So if you want to contribute to the world, you're going to need some sensitivity. You're going to need connection to your emotions. And this is just one of the things that comes with it.
100%.
And the reality is, we're going to say this with all kinds of love and advocacy to everybody, not just Leslie.
They didn't see it. Yeah, they don't care. Not that they don't care. They didn't see it. They don't know. They really don't. They're not. I actually thought about this because I do know Leslie. And I was like, has she ever posted about her podcast on Facebook? That was actually a real thought for me. Now I know what Leslie does and I know who she is, but I don't recall ever seeing any post about the podcast. They don't know.
Michelle is the social media voice of our company, right? Michelle is co-host and she creates most of the Facebook groups, the events. She is creating the majority of everything we do online. And to this day, and for what, the last 5 years, when I go live, Michelle Moore doesn't get a notification.
Right. I click reminders.
She operates our business page.
I don't see it.
And when my business page goes live, she doesn't get a notification.
Right.
They don't know.
Yeah, they don't know.
They don't know. Please, Leslie,
everybody else.
Everybody. I'm gonna give you a challenge. I'm gonna give you $100 of Michelle's pay. If sometime over the next year you can get somebody to tell you to stop posting so damn much. If you can do that, you take a screenshot and I will give you 100 of Michelle's dollars. I might throw in a couple of mine. Prove that you even have it in you and that it's a possibility. And then we'll tell you how to avoid it. And I think all of you that's resonating with any of this, I'm not going to put $100 on the line for everybody.
Right.
But take that challenge.
Truly.
Prove to me that it's a danger first, and then I'll tell you how to avoid it. Why? Because 99.9% of the people that give a damn are afraid of a thing that's not even possible, and that fear is shutting you down.
Yeah.
Go past the line, and then I'll tell you how to bring it back a little bit so that you don't cross it again. Get somebody to tell you. Because here's the thing. We just scroll, you guys.
Yeah.
We just scroll.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of studies about how much this human brain needs to see something repetitively to know it even exists.
Yeah.
And then to do anything about it, and then to engage at all. Whatever you, and I'm talking about everybody, not just Leslie, whatever you think is too much to be spammy, especially on social media, multiply that by 10.
Yeah.
And do that. And I can virtually guarantee you, they're just getting to know you.
Yeah, they're
Especially on social media. Social media is an extremely fast-moving platform. It doesn't stay and in front of people's faces. Email is different. If you make 10 posts a day on on social media, a lot of your people won't know you made posts.
Right.
Because Facebook only lets like 5% of your friends know that you made a post.
Right.
The ones that do know you made a post, they like your posts because they engage and they heart them and they post comments. So they enjoy the posts.
Right.
Those are the ones that are going to see it anyway. Like Facebook will send your posts to the people that are super fans or engaging because that's how the algorithm works. The majority of the people won't know. And by posting a lot more, you might actually let them know about the thing that you're talking about. So you can make 10 posts a day on social media. Most people won't know. And if they do, they just scroll past. If you send 10 emails and I open up my inbox, I've got 10 emails in front of you in my static email box. That's different.
Yeah. It's a moving platform versus a
social media is a moving platform. So be much more active and more aggressive on social media and be a little bit more strategic on emails. Now, having said that, send more emails.
Yeah.
Send more emails.
The thing that is important for me to remember is that I'm thinking about them because I care, right? So they're on my mind as an individual because I care about them. I am not yet the thing or the person that they're thinking about. They're on social media for the experience that you were just speaking to, Sean. They're on the experience just to scroll, most of them just to check out, to waste time, to have something to do while they're, taking a poop or whatever they're doing while they're looking at their phone. So they're not thinking about us yet in the same way that we're thinking about them. So we want to be aware of the filter that we're using to assess what they're thinking about what we're doing, because they're not using the same one that we are yet. So yes, post more. You're not spamming at all. There's people in here that are like, oh my gosh, I would love to know more about what it is that you do. I've only gotten thank yous. And there's times, y'all see this if you follow me on social media and you actually went in and looked at my thing. There's times that I post, have done 5, 6 plus in a single day. And the only thing that people have ever messaged me is thank you. I love seeing how you're showing up. And they're just now starting to see it. So keep going. They don't know you yet. And you gotta make them know you, because what you have is valuable. Who you are is valuable.
And if you posting valuable information is going to irritate somebody, they're not your seeker.
Yeah.
Think about the thing that you really, really want to learn. Would you get irritated if you got more of it? Yeah. Especially when you can just choose, right? I mean, we now have thousands of hours of videos on our YouTube channel. Nobody's forced into watching them, but if they want to, and we have some people go, I binged, somebody recently said, I binged your channel all weekend. Like literally all weekend.
Oh.
But not everybody has to do that. And, most of our videos are like an hour long for good reason. And you can stop at any point.
Right.
People actually don't get irritated when it's what they want to learn about.
Yep.
And they have the ability to scroll or save and read later.
Sure.
But the people that don't know about you won't ever get reached if we're afraid of being too spammy, especially to the people that aren't our seekers anyway. I mean, think about that. Really, what we're afraid of, the haters, right? We're afraid of the people that are judging us. Mm-hmm. We're afraid of being judged by the people we don't care about.
Yes.
We're afraid of being judged by the people that don't like your message or don't need it or don't care about your message. And because we're afraid of being judged by the people who are misaligned with the message anyway, they are not seeking your message. Because we're afraid of being judged by the people who are not seeking it, we're not putting ourselves in front of the people who are. And I hope that stings. So to bring all of this to a close, somebody even put in the comment when we mentioned.
Oh my God, what poll? That was my favorite.
And it came on YouTube, right?
Yes.
I mean, it came on YouTube, right?
Yeah. Here we
What
go.
poll? So we mentioned that Michelle put up a poll. And
here's
somebody
Dawn
who's watching on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
Like, what poll?
Right.
It's on the platform. And that doesn't mean that you'll necessarily see it.
Yeah.
As you're watching this video, it depends on how you're seeing it, but it's on that platform and it's just perfect. The point is, there was a poll that said, are you joining us for our free content creation challenge? And there are 3 options. And truthfully, when I saw these options, it hurt. You guys, my initial reaction is, oh my God, they don't care. Oh my God, they don't care. The amount of people that go, yes, I'm all in, 36%.
The next one.
I don't even know how that compares. I don't know if it's good or bad. I just know 2/3 of the people just told me to kick rocks. That's how I take that.
Like, nah.
2/3. And these are subscribers that are seeing this. Like, these are people that have already, these are people that have already come in the house and now they're looking for the exit door.
Yeah, they're like, nah. No, thanks.
36% of the people. The next one says, nope, I'm not interested. 9%. Now, I want to thank you, Michelle, because I know you created the wording for that. There are other ways you could have you could have bubble wrapped that a little bit. It could have just been like, no, I have other things to do, or I don't think I'm going to make this one. Like, you could have given people a way to say no without, I'm not interested.
Yeah, it's called a forced choice.
Right. Nope. I'm not interested. 9% of the people, 1 out of 10 people. I don't care what you have to say. Subscribers. Subscribers.
Yeah.
And then the last one. So those are just my own emotional reaction.
Your wounds speaking.
These are my wounds. The last one is relevant to what we just opened up.
This is my favorite.
Right. 55%. Wait, what content challenge? 55%. Only the one we've been talking about constantly. Right? Like that one. Anyway. I want to add this to the conversation. We have 25,000 subscribers on our channel. When we do these lives, we average around 50 if it's a good day.
Live.
That show up live. 50. For my own emotional protection, right now I am choosing my emotional self-preservation. I won't do the math on that percentage because I can't even round that up to 1.
It's 6,500.
Can't even. Yeah. I can't even get that up to 1%. Like, that is so far away. I can't even get there.
Yeah.
I can't get there with a trampoline. I can't get to 1%. But 1 million views, 10 million minutes.
And people that are here right now that are live.
Yes.
People that are here right now that are live.
And
Yeah.
focusing on all the ones that aren't is disrespectful to the ones that are. So
Yeah.
with that, you all, I
Oh,
appreciate
yeah.
you so much. We love you guys. We love the interaction. Continue asking questions, make your comments, and we'll see you
Thank you.
on tomorrow's video.
Yes.
Got another assignment for you tomorrow in the content creation challenge. What challenge? We're running a challenge?